everybody. Welcome to Tuesday. Today's Tuesday, right? Yeah, Tuesday edition of Box Seats. I'm your host, Frank Holder. I'm here with the comedians known as Talent and Fig. As I say every day, these comics have been in the comedy game for a long time. They've been in comedy films, film festivals, TV shows, traveled the world, and everything. And now they're on a sports talk show we call Box Seats. Talent wasn't with us yesterday, so Talent, how was your weekend, bro?
I wasn't with y'all. It was wonderful. Whenever I get a moment away from traditional work, is a beautiful thing. No, it was a great weekend. Yesterday being a travel day, sorry for missing it. But it's good to be back.
Right. You look kind of like you had a tan, so you escaped to Barbados or something like that.
I'm just beautiful, man. That's all I can say. Today's Tuesday, right? Tuesday, my beautiful day.
Yeah, there you go. Fig, how was your day? How's your night?
Man, last night was amazing. Yes. Them vitamins is kicking in. That's all I'm telling you.
All right, so let's get the show underway. I normally start with the COVID report, and the COVID report I'm gonna start with today is it's kind of simple. Being that the simple fact being that the NBA is making the news because they're having some executives and they're looking at the protocol, because whether or not we realize it or not, the NBA playoffs are starting in 2.5 weeks. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to get ready to find out which executives that are head down there first have COVID. And so far, 4 or 5 of them have been put on a 10-day protocol, list, because it looks like they do have COVID. So also the NBA is pushing, as we said before, NBA pushing as people to get the vaccine. And Fig, you got the vaccine. Talent, you got the vaccine shot too?
No. I like to do watch the guinea pigs for a little while before I jump into something like that. But they are pushing it. I mean, everywhere. You cut on your Facebook, boom. You cut on your Instagram, boom. Cut TV on commercial, boom. They get stars. I haven't taken it yet.
Yeah. Fig, you took it, so you're recuperating from it, right?
Yeah, I got both of my shots, man. The first one, man, it was nothing at all. My arm was a little sore after, and the second one that I got my second shot, and day 2, my body just felt a little achy, like I was recovering from a cold. But after that, I felt fine.
So that's what the NBA is doing. So I think the NBA is wanting the executives to do the exact same thing. So let's jump into the sports thing. So I'm gonna start with you, Talent, because here's the news that, again, I like to find news that not a lot of people aren't talking about. So the first news item I found out this morning was that LA County says Vanessa Bryant has no viable legal claims in the crash lawsuit. Basically, as we all know, Vanessa Bryant wants to sue the LA Sheriff's County Department for taking pictures on scene, and their countersuit is going to be, their counterclaim actually saying that she has no grounds to stand on. So, Talent, I'm gonna ask you what you think about this, because at the end of the day, it's a touchy situation. I'm sure nobody wants pictures of their loved ones, being sold by the police. You don't mind. Not that you don't mind. You expect it by the paparazzi, but when the police are rushing to be on the scene and then they're taking pictures and sharing it, I think that's a big problem.
I think she has some sort of case, even though they say she don't. I think she do, for the simple fact that this is public service, and in public service there has to be a discretion rule, because if it wasn't, I think police will be posting it all the time. But it has to be a rule that, I've seen several murders or accidental deaths where the police tell you we can't comment because we have to notify the family first. You know what I mean? So depending on when this fell, when they took the pictures and leaked the pictures and all that, I think it's some sort of breach as a public servant without notifying the family first or getting the permission and approval of said family. So I do think she got something to stand on.
Right. What do you think, Fig? What's your thoughts?
I think that's attorney talk 101. Whenever somebody brings a suit against your client, the first thing the attorney says, "Oh, they got no case." Man, that's ridiculous. Hey, they have no case. They have no standing to sue anything. We did nothing wrong. There's nothing to see here. Forget your lying eyes. Believe what I'm telling you. Talking about, you're an official. You're a police officer. You're releasing photos of an accident scene. That's not your job. You can't do that. You can't release the personal information on an accident scene. You supposed look. At the end of the day, police are supposed to be held to a higher criteria or a high authority, if you will, on how to behave when there's an accident or a crime scene or something like that. You can't behave like TMZ. You're not TMZ. You're LAPD. You can't do that. And I think she has a place.
Right. Now, I'm gonna even throw this out there and say this for the thing. Like what Talon said, if somebody starts to do this and it's accepted, I think everybody's going to start doing it. And I think that's what the problem is. And you can't do that because at the end of the day, people expect the police to be the first one on the scene. And first, find out what's going on. Find out, see if you can help people. Don't stand there and take pictures. You know what I mean? You stand there and taking pictures. This is a problem. Go ahead, Vic.
Right. I mean, I just want to add, I'm not sure if it's LA, but certain police departments are trying to make it illegal for bystanders to film the police with their cell phones while they're in the process of performing their duties. So if they're gonna make that illegal, then how can the police release the findings of an accident scene when people are when they have dead people? How can the police do that if they don't want you to film them while they're in the process of performing their duties? I mean, you can't have it both ways.
Right. Actually, I think you're right. Actually, to throw it out there, I think it should be illegal. I think there are some people moving forward with it saying that they obviously you can't not be filming stuff on because, hey, whether it's Kobe Bryant or the president of the United States or anybody, if something happens to somebody, you should not be able to be there on scene. Those people have helicopters because they know you can't be standing there with cameras, but there's nobody has no kind of law in the sky. You know what I mean? That's why it is what it is. I don't know. But let me drop the next story on you because the next story is kind of big too. Roberto Alomar, you know what I mean? The Toronto Blue Jays great. He resigned from the Hall of Fame board because there have now been some sexual assault allegations, and we all know how these sexual assault allegations tend up to go. So, Talon, I'm gonna start with you and throw it out there. Not that we're surprised that sexual assault allegations are happening in sports, but when you hear it's happening on all levels of sports, from executives to everything else, is it a money grab? Are these people really reaching for it? Because this is a real misconduct. But Roberto Alomar was kind of forced to resign from the Hall of Fame board. The Hall of Fame board.
Well, let's just call it a spade. Can we keep it real for a second? We some nasty ass bastards. And again, we joke about it all the time in comedy because this has been going on since the beginning of time. Men are attracted to women, women attracted to men. It's a natural thing. Now you put us together in the workplace. That doesn't stop or hinder the attraction. That's just people are supposed to act right. However, if people feel the mutual likeness, then things happen, things get done, right? Mm-hmm. And if people do not, you end up with harassment. Or another case that I've seen close to me, that a guy I know, two people that work together, dealing together, and then it don't work out, and the guy starts dealing with somebody else at the same workplace. Now this person brings up old stuff. So you know what? Sexual harassment. Wow. I got proof. I got pictures. He sends me these pictures. He talked to me or touched me a certain way in the hall. Yeah, because he used to have a certain camaraderie with you, and you guys had dealings, so he felt comfortable like that. But now that you are in a different headspace and a different attitude, it's sexual harassment. I mean, that's the bottom line. I'm not surprised that it pops up in any workplace, any profession, any sport, because the human beings, they're men and women, and people are going to be attracted to each other. How they conduct themselves is how this thing ends up all day, every day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know something else? The sad part of it is more we deal with women at our workplace. Everything else, this stuff is going to continue to happen. You know what I mean? Fig, what's your thoughts?
Well, look, the thing is that, like Talon said, men and women generally heterosexual. Let's put that out there. Men and women are attracted to each other for a bevy of reasons, and a lot of times when you have men that are considered less desirable or unattractive, and this man achieves a particular level of success, and he has money, that gives him access to women who ordinarily wouldn't talk to them, or ordinarily wouldn't give them the time of day or their attention. So when men are in a position where they earn a certain amount of money and they gain a certain amount of power, they feel I guess emboldened to approach certain women that they probably normally wouldn't approach or couldn't get their attention. And that's what happens in the workplace. If you're a boss and there's an attractive woman that is working there, that's, for lack of a better description, under you, and you feel that you want to talk to her or whatever and stuff like that, if she doesn't, capitulate to your advancement, then it becomes sexual harassment. If she likes you, it becomes a relationship. And there you have the difference.
Okay, I want to make sure I understand you. Are you saying guys who are ugly, who don't normally become famous, they the ones who cross the line, and guys who are normal looking, they don't have to worry about that? That's what you're saying, Fig? I'm trying to make sure I understand what you're saying.
Usually, I'm going to tell you this. The difference between sexual harassment and a relationship is whether the woman is attracted to you or not. And if you have money, that makes you more attractive to women. That's just it.
That's 100% true. But at the end of the day, you could still have money. They could still be attracted to you, and they can still cross the line. Like I don't know. Listen, I'm not attracted to men at all, so I can't tell if a guy's good looking or not. I just think he looks average. I can tell if a guy's ugly because, like Patrick Ewing, that's an ugly dude. You know?
Wait a minute.
Why do you pick a New York Knick? Listen, Kevin McHale is not the handsomest dude in the world either.
Well, hold on. Let me say this. Patrick Ewing is from Cambridge, from Boston, so I know him from high school. I'm not talking about that from that. I'm just saying. Right. My point I'm trying to make is that whether you look good or you look bad, you cross the line, you cross the line. You know what I mean? If a woman decides, no matter what you look like, if a woman decides, hey, you know what, he texts me about my boobs or whatever, whatever. That's sexual harassment. That literally could go down as sexual harassment. You know what I mean?
But so you both got a point. But to Fig's point, what he's saying is this: a lot of the times, not every single case, but a lot of the times, if the woman finds that guy attractive and she's flirting back and forth, you'll never see that hit the desk of sexual harassment. Right. If it's some ugly guy, he's doing the same little innuendos and slick talking and, say a couple of words and a couple of push-up lines and stuff like that, that will end up on the desk as a sexual harassment case. So he's right in that essence, but you're right. No matter how you look, if you cross the line, you cross the line.
Right, but at the end of the day, whether you're ugly or not, if the woman is married and you work together with it, that's sexual harassment too. You know what I mean?
I mean, look, if the woman is married, or I don't care what you look like, that should be taboo. You know what I mean? But I'll tell you, look, two things.
Speak for yourselves. Don't do
two things that men have always said. I mean, it's gone in the comedy world too. Denzel Washington walks up to a woman, I like the way your bra looks in that blouse. She giggles. She might be flattered by it. Flavor Flav says the same exact thing. She'd be like, "Oh, you got a lot of nerve. That's sexual harassment."
Yeah, that's true. That's true too. But Denzel could walk up to a married woman and because she's so devoted to her husband, he could say the exact same thing and be like, "That's not flattering." You know what I mean? Again, depends on the person, circumstance. It just depends on.
Clearly, you watch a lot of cartoons, first of all, Frank. But here's the thing.
How you get that?
Because that's a fairy tale right there. But here's the thing, like, I'm man enough to, I'll go a step further than when Frank said, well, I don't know what a handsome dude look like. I can look at a guy and say that guy's handsome, without feeling any type of lean on my sexuality and my manhood. Right. I could be honest enough, so-and-so, that's a handsome brother right there. You know what I mean? I'm not attracted to him. We ain't about to date. You know what I mean? Because I'm heterosexual. However, I'm man enough to say, okay, I see why she like him. She's a handsome brother. He carries himself well. And, like Fig said, got a few dollars, whatever the case may be. But I'm trying to tell you, and any woman that will keep it real will tell you, if she's feeling the dude and the flirting is mutual, or she likes him and wants to be hit on by him, it's not making it to the level of sexual harassment, even though it technically can be considered because it's in the workplace. And she could at any moment go, hey, that's inappropriate. I want to file a complaint with HR, but she won't. Why? Because in her mind, he's a cutie.
Yeah. Here's the thing about sexual harassment. It's such a gray area. It covers so much. There's no cut and dry thing.
Right.
But the thing that bothers me, the issues I have with sexual harassment is because it's such a gray area, and because you could be high riding a horse today, and tomorrow you could be like Roberto Alomar giving up. I mean, a seat on the Hall of Fame board. You know how deep the Hall of Fame board is? Like, you got to be really, really respected just to be asked to be on that. And because a woman made an allegation, now hasn't even proven, she made an allegation, he was forced to get off the board of the Baseball Hall of Fame, which is the oldest Hall of Fame institution in the country. It doesn't get older than that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I have an issue with that. Moving on. I saw another story. There was an Asian American team. He was playing basketball in the AAU tournament. His name wasn't released. He got a concussion because he got called racial slurs and everything else during the game. And two other people of the other team came up and punched him and almost knocked him out during the game. The crazy thing about this was, one, it's an Asian American team who's called Asian names, and two, none of the parents who were at the game did anything about it. His mother had to run all the way from the opposite side of the court to jump inside of it and to stop the altercation that was happening. Meanwhile, the ref who was there, the coaches who was there, everybody was there, nobody budged. Now, again, we're talking about some blurry lines here because, again, it's Asian hate and everything else. But when you hear this story, because now it's bleeding into sports, what's your thought about this one, Talent?
I mean, I heard, I just watched something on the Asian hate thing, and I thought it was very interesting. As a matter of fact, it was Michael John White, and he did a live a thing on it, and he said how he compared it to Black Lives Matter. He was like, the Asian hate thing is a deflection of what's going on with everything else, to change the climate, so to speak, and get it off of black and white. He said, because if you notice out here, the only thing I think about Asian hate is there's no backlash. There's only backlash with Black Lives Matter. So when you yell Black Lives Matter, you get all lives matter. Mm-hmm. When you say stop Asian hate, there is no counter. Everybody goes, oh, okay, oh yeah. It's almost like it's a distraction and a deflection to change the climate of what's going on. I think that we can break down hate in any ethnicity or background if we really get technical with it. I don't think that you got ignorant people everywhere. And some people, soon as, COVID came, oh, Asians, it came from China, blah, blah, and started doing little stupid stuff, firebombing Chinese restaurant or calling slurs to the Asian that lives in the neighborhood. I think any type of hate is out of control. I don't think it's as big, but I think it's being blown up as big because, again, we need a distraction because there's the tension of the black and white thing. But I think all this is across the board out there. I don't swipe it away like it don't exist. I just don't think it's as big as the media wants it to be right now. It's a distraction.
Well, I'm gonna throw this out there before I even throw it to Fig. The Asian hate is a little different because people are treating the Asians, a lot of the Asians, like how they did the knockout game where people were rocking up and knocking people out. A lot of people are walking up and knocking these Asian people out. That they're usually, I don't care what size they are as people, but they're right. Hitting and harming elderly people. So, and then they're knocking them out on the street cold, like, 70.
Yeah, but the fact that this game is because it happened to somebody else before the Asians.
That's true, but it was a trending thing where all the kids were trying to make it a fun thing. When, as we already know what happened with the knockout thing. But Fig, what's your thoughts on this?
I'm surprised that at a sporting event that that different teams got into a fight over whatever, trash talk, whatever, and stuff like that, and nobody intervened. Whether it be the referees, the coaches of the team, and stuff like that. And we've seen, back in the early days of the NBA where it was all out brawl. Everybody got into it. The referees were out there to break it up. The coaching staff of each team were out there to separate the parties and to diffuse it. And the fact that nobody did anything about it in this particular instance is surprising to me, that they would allow some type of violence to go on at a basketball game. That it is shocking to me. And let me just tell you this. I believe that whoever was there, an official or somebody who was supposed to be an authority at that event, they should be fired, because that's not what is supposed to go on at a sporting event. To lend to what Talent said, the thing about about this thing with the Asians hate and stuff like that, is citizens on citizens. The thing when it comes to black people, it's a government type thing that is oppressing black people. It's governmental. It's the government it's the Congress. It's the United States government. It's the FBI. It's the CIA. It's very different when you have citizens on citizens, and then when you have an entire government that takes a hand in oppressing people.
Now, you know what? We could talk about that part for an hour by itself, so we're not going to dive too deep into that. But I cannot disagree with that because, blacks have been enslaved in this country for 400 plus years. The Asians have been here and were not enslaved. They were getting paid to be here, but it was still pretty bad all the way around too. Let me move on. Let's move on. Talent. The NFL Insider came out last night and said that Deshaun Watson may not play this season at all, and his career in Houston literally could be over because of all the stuff that's going on. I'm gonna ask you: do you agree or disagree? Or what's your thoughts now? Because listen, we thought there was going to be some movement about Deshaun Watson right up into the draft. Now there's nothing happening with Deshaun Watson. His case has clearly separated himself from Antonio Brown. He could be looking at being outside of Houston. Hell, not even being in the league, in my opinion. I don't know. I'm clearly clueless on this one. What you think?
I doubt if we see him miss an entire season. I really would bet against that. I think we'll get to see him play. I think that he won't be in Texas. I think he'll get his wish, but I just think that they're teaching him this long, drawn-out lesson because you're not supposed to be a black player and exercise your power to the fullest. You know, you're supposed to be a good old boy. You're supposed to roll with the punches and stay where they have you at. Because, they line a lot of ducks up, for things to happen a certain way. And you get in the way of the order or preordained thing that they got going. So I think they're teaching him a hell of a lesson and putting a stain on him that you're never going to kind of escape this stain, so to speak. Like we're always going to think of Michael Vick when it comes to dogs. We're always going to think of, this person when it comes to sexual harassment. We're always going to think of this person when it comes to vehicular homicide. You know what I mean? So I think that this is a storm that they can control, so to speak. And they're just putting this stigma on them. So everywhere you go, you're going to have this.
Yeah, but the sorry thing about this talent is that I said it a million times. We did talk about this a million times. He doesn't have one criminal charge on him. These are all civil cases, which makes this to me horrific to me because this brother, and they all are misdemeanors. But I
mean, it don't matter. Smear campaigns are smear campaign.
No, I'm not talking about
they don't care about. I don't think they care about the criminal part. I think it's the smear. Look how long we're still talking about this.
I'm not knocking that, but you look at Ray Rice. Ray Rice had a criminal charge on him with the NFL, and before the video came out, he was going to play the next season in the NFL. He was going to, but once the video came out of him physically assaulting his wife and knocking her out cold in the elevator, his career was over. So my thing is it's such a blurry line that the NFL is doing. But I don't want to keep going on this. Let me get Fig his point, and then I'll finish saying what my point is. Fig, what you think?
Well, I think this is public castration, if you will. The same thing they did to Colin Kaepernick. It seems like the same thing they're doing to Deshaun Watson. The difference between Deshaun Watson and the Ray Rice, the victim was a black woman. With Deshaun Watson, the victim is a white NFL owner. That's a much bigger target. You pissed off a white NFL owner and you made him upset. And now it's like him and all his friends are going to get together and make sure that your career is ruined. It's the same old playbook. When they're angry at a black man about something that he did, the first thing they do is take away your money or try to take away your ability to earn a living. Because that's what they did to Muhammad Ali when he said, look, because of religious reasons, I do not want to go I do not want to be drafted into the military. They said, well, the judge said, I'm going to take away your boxing license. I'm going to take away your passport, and I'm going to take away your ability to earn a living. That is the American playbook. That's exactly what they do to you all the time.
Yep.
Okay. Now, I can agree with some of the stuff you said. I can disagree with some of the stuff you said. A lot of it I agree with. My only issue is that my point I was making, I guess, let me say this. My point I was making is the NFL has created a blurry line. You know what I mean? Like they handle situations with women one way, and it's not a clear cut thing. My thing is, if you physically assault a woman and it's proven and it's a criminal charge, then I understand that. But if there's a civil case and it's not proven, why isn't the player not playing? That's my point. Like, why isn't the player not having movement on it? Like, I think the line in the NFL is too blurry. Again, I use Ray Rice as the example because Ray Rice knocked the woman out cold, and that was a criminal charge. That was not even a misdemeanor. That was an assault charge. He knocked her out cold, and then on top of that, they were even trying to add another charge when he grabbed her and dragged her out. He didn't even pick her up. Remember, he grabbed her and he dragged her
out of the elevator.
Yeah, dragged her across the floor on the thing, and then immediately after that, he gets engaged to her, and they get married and everything else. And the NFL was fine with that beforehand until the video came out. Now you got that. Now you have an assault case, a sexual assault case that's a criminal charge, and not one of them has been proven guilty yet. Not one of them. And why is this student in the league?
But the difference is, it's not the women that are the victims here, Frank. The women in this case, in this civil suit, they're the pawns. The offended party is the owner of the Houston Texans. That's the big thing here. Here's the major difference. Tell me what Deshaun Watson did that's different from what Aaron Rodgers is doing. Aaron Rodgers said, I don't want to play with the Green Bay Packers no more. You offended me. You pissed me off. I don't like what you did. I want to get out of here. I don't want to play for the Green Bay Packers anymore. It's the exact same thing that Deshaun Watson said with the Houston Texans. Let's see what happens to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, and speaking of Aaron Rodgers, let's bring it up. Let's bring up the next case because Aaron Rodgers told his team that he doesn't want to play for them anymore, right? He said he doesn't want to do that and everything else. Terry Bradshaw came out last night and called him out. Here's what Terry Bradshaw said, Talent. Terry Bradshaw said, literally, him being that upset shows how weak he is. Talent, when you hear that Terry Bradshaw said that about Aaron Rodgers, after Aaron Rodgers is upset at the team because of what Aaron Rodgers has not been given, now he has a good case for not wanting to return. What do you think when an NFL great such as Terry Bradshaw comes out and says that about Aaron Rodgers? What do you think?
Well, Terry Bradshaw, screw Terry. Terry is the Bill Walton of football. These are old players that are bitter at anybody's playing now. So I really don't take it but with a grain of salt. People got to realize it's not about being weak. I totally get where he come from. Right now, Brady's still playing and Aaron Rodgers is still playing the game. Aaron Rodgers sees himself in that class and bracket. And I'm going to tell you where it comes down to. Two things was the straw that broke the back. One being at the end of that game against Brady, the team could have rolled till the wheels fell off with Aaron Rodgers with the play calling at the very end. And they didn't. They opted to go with the defense. Mm-hmm. And it didn't work. And he lost. And he was pissed at that. Then to add salt to the wound, you go and get a quarterback. When you go and get a quarterback, and this guy playing at the level he's playing at, what do you think you're telling your quarterback? Mm-hmm. You're sending an inadvertent, invisible message, so to speak, that he took a certain way. He feels like he's on the Brady level of playing right now, and he's looking across the street at Brady, and he's saying Brady's in a great situation where he has to say so to bring people, to get rid of people, to play call, to do all these things as it should be at this tenure of your game, at your level in the game. And he wants that. I think he wants that, and I think it was clear. Those two moves was clear that they weren't willing to give him that or look at him like that. So he's probably looking at it like, I can go somewhere and get a team to sign on and put me in a position that Brady got in Tampa Bay.
Yeah. I
don't care what Terry Bradshaw, he's that Bill Walton dude, man. And the reason I used to watch the NBA games before COVID, and Bill Walton was commentating a lot of those big games, and I mute that shit because I just watch the play. I put some music on, watch the game, and I don't want to hear him because he's going to pick apart these young players that's making a lot of money, and for that reason, because they made more money nowadays than when he made money when he played. I don't like it.
The funny thing is that's a great analogy between Terry Bradshaw and Bill Walton because they both got head issues. But I'll dive into that in a second. Fig, what do you think? You hear Terry Bradshaw called out. He literally called out Aaron Rodgers because he said Aaron Rodgers is him being that upset shows how weak he is. I don't even see how he's being weak. But go ahead. What's your thought, Fig?
3 letters. CTE. Terry Bradshaw is suffering from all of those hits that he took as a quarterback. Clearly, he's losing some of his brain cell along with his hair. So that's what's wrong with Terry Bradshaw. Terry Bradshaw lost his mind, man. What do you mean? I mean, everybody in the modern era can see what Aaron Rodgers, what his gripe is with his team. I mean, he'd like to have a little bit of say-so and influence over what happens on the offensive end of the ball, and what his organization basically told him is, we paid you, shut up and play. Because the story is that Aaron Rodgers went to the organization, went to the Green Bay Packers management and said, listen, I'd like to, get a few suggestions as to what I think would be able to help us win and be better on the offensive side of the ball. And he was dismissed. They told him, no, we got this. We paid you. You just quarterback, and we'll handle the business of football. And then they went on to draft his successor, and then took most of their draft picks. Well, first off, not only did they draft his successor, they got rid of other picks so they can move up to draft his successor. And then most of their draft picks was on the defensive end of the ball instead of giving him additional weapons to help him on the offensive side of the ball. And Aaron Rodgers was like, look, I've done all I could do. I've made it to be MVP. My coach really doesn't respect me because he took the ball out of my hands within 10 yards of the goal last year. I won MVP. The organization doesn't respect me, so I want to get out of here.
Yeah. So, Town, do you think he's going to retire? Do you think he's going to push up on that threat and retire, like he said? Because you missed the show yesterday. We were talking about Aaron Rodgers threw out a threat, talking about he is going to retire if he's not going to be able to move from Green Bay. You think he's going to retire?
I think he will if they won't trade him and let him go. I think he will.
Okay, Fig, you think so?
Absolutely. Aaron Rodgers seems to be that kind of guy. He's made a lot of money, and he has a lot of other opportunities outside of football if he decides to leave.
Yeah, I think he'll retire too because he has an actress for a girlfriend, and I think they might even be engaged. He wants to be on Jeopardy. He wants himself to be on TV. I think he literally could say, you know what, I'm out, and leave them hanging high and dry because they could trade him for some other piece, and and get a big, because he was MVP. But if he retires, they're gonna have no good quarterback, and like they won't get nowhere with Jordan Love. They're not gonna get to the NFC Championship game again. I don't care what nobody says. Last hot topic before we jump into the NBA is that Titans got a draft pick over the weekend. His name is Rashad Weaver. He also got charged with assaulting a woman. He was the 4th round draft pick in Pittsburgh. The incident happened on April 18th. He knocked the girl out. He punched her and walked away. People said they saw him leave the scene where the girl laid her flat out. Should the NFL continue on and even have this kid even get into the league? Because he's a draft pick. He didn't even make it to the NFL yet, but now he's making, of course, news because he was one of the Titans draft pick and knocked the girl out cold. It's almost like Ray Rice all over again.
You gotta move on. You gotta let me tell you something. You gotta move on from that. That's the toxic we're talking about. I know that there's a lot of things that people were getting away with back in the day. When I say back in the day, but we're supposed to be a corrective society. We're supposed to be getting better. We can't ask everyone else to get better, and we don't get better. Mm-hmm. You can't say don't whoop your kids, but I look across the street, you whooping your kids. You stand which way you stand, and hopefully it's progressive. You're progressing. You're making progress. You're getting better. We cannot tolerate this anymore. Like, trust me, he's not the first or last guy's ever going to get pissed off to the highest level of festivity, but to knock a girl out is where we got to draw the line.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with that. Fig, when you hear that this dude knocked the girl out, almost Ray Rice all over again, and he just got drafted over the weekend, 4th-round draft pick. What do you think should happen to this player? Not again, formal charges have not been filed yet, not official, but it's coming. It's coming. What do you think, Fig?
First off, these women that date football players, they need to learn how to duck. I'm like, y'all crazy, man. I'm sorry. I'm trying to make light out of a horrible situation, man. And forgive me for being, seeming to be insensitive, because I'm really not insensitive when it comes to domestic violence, man. I think this kid basically just ruined his NFL career, man, because you're talking about a 4th round. You're not talking about a 1st round. You're not talking about a 2nd. You're talking about a 4th round draft pick. A lot of 4th round draft picks say basically when they draft you in the 4th round, pretty much what they're saying is they don't think you're very good to begin with. So to have a 4th round draft pick, man, and to have this kind of blemish on him already, unless this kid is super exceptional, I think his NFL career is just about over, because he's not a part of the union. He hasn't made a team, not on a roster. He might be done.
Well, I don't even think it revolves around how good he is, because Ray Rice was the #1 back in the league when he did that, bro, and he was gone. He never even played another down.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't think it depends on how good you are.
It was on. It was on camera too, Frank. Like they got video of it.
No. That's what I was about to say. I think the difference is only difference is going to be is that Ray Rice got caught in the elevator with a camera, and this guy, people said they saw it and everything else, saw him walk away after he knocked her out, but there was no video footage of it. So I think that's the only thing I think that could save him and have him continue on to be in the league, is because nobody caught it on camera. You know what I mean? Roger Goodell could not literally hold the shield up of the NFL and say, "Oh, that's no big deal." When video came out of how gruesome that punch was when Ray Rice knocked out that girl in the elevator. You know what I mean? I think that's the biggest difference. So anyway, how we always got to move on. I'm gonna ask you this, Talent, and I'm gonna say this, man. Russell Westbrook has been racking up triple doubles all season long. Washington has been starting to win, believe it or not. Russell Westbrook now, last night he got 21 boards and 21 assists, and phenomenal numbers. But are we, as NBA fans and NBA sports athletes and reporters and everything, are we overlooking and disrespecting Russell Westbrook and not paying attention to the work this boy's putting in? Because some people are saying he's the best guard to ever play, one of the best guards, shooting guard, off guard to ever play in the NBA of all time. What's your thoughts, Talon?
First of all, who said that?
A couple people, sports reporters.
Yeah, let me send them a postcard. Kill yourself. Listen, the best ever. No way, no how. I think that in sports, there's these players. I don't care what sport it is, that are really good. We respect their game. We don't take anything away from their talents that they bring to the game. But during the course of their career, they do something to what I call like rub the fan base wrong. And what that does is mess with your likability. You need a certain level of likability for people to talk about you ongoing, to fight and hurrah for you. You know, when people campaign for other people, it's like the MVP race, right? The people who are voting for all these people, oh no, this person, it's because of likability.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's some of it's because you're good. Because let's think about it. We've watched people have much better years, but down the line, they're not having an as great year, but still get that camaraderie. Come on, he should be MVP. He's the best in the league. He's the most valuable player. That's because the likability. Russell has done something to tarnish his likability. And I think a lot of that has to do with when people think you're either uncoachable or unworkable and you hop a lot of teams.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's people is one thing. We have journeymen, and then we have these superstar players is on another level, but they can't seem to play with anybody. And if that keeps happening, you lose a lot of likability. So I don't think it's that they're overlooking him. I just think you don't hear about him as much as we used to when he was on OKC with Kevin Durant. You know what I mean? And when he first went to Houston, people was like, oh my God, the excitement was there. but he couldn't play and make things happen with other players. So the excitement and the likability level goes down, down, down until he's still doing his thing. You're just not talking about it.
You know what? I could agree with everything you're saying, but I think there's one caveat about Russell Westbrook is I think his on court antics is the reason why a lot of people don't like him and not talking about him. I think that has a lot to do with it. Fig, we overlooking Russell Westbrook? Are we disrespecting Russell Westbrook? Are we, as fans and sports reporters and everything else, just looking past him because we're not paying attention? He's putting up some amazing numbers. What you think?
You know, the numbers are amazing, but you know, at the end of the day, look, the only reason that we play sports, the main reason is winning. And if you, I don't care what your numbers are, if you lose the game, like nobody really cares. Russell Westbrook has played with some of the best NBA talent that the NBA has to offer. He's played with Kevin Durant, James Harden, Serge Ibaka, James Harden the second time in Houston. He played with Victor Oladipo, now Bradley Beal. I just happen to look at the record just to say, you know, man, maybe we're missing something. Their standings, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I'm looking at it now. The Washington Wizards is 30-35. And you have Bradley Beal on your team, and you're Russell Westbrook putting up triple doubles. I'm not saying that we're overlooking him, but I mean, it's just individual numbers that don't add up to winning. It just is what it is.
You know, the thing is about Russell Westbrook, like I said, well, I think it's the disrespect, but the numbers he's getting, it cannot be stated that if it was somebody else, I think somebody else would be all over. Like if Chris Paul was putting up these numbers, I think it'd be all over the ESPN. I mean, I don't know why.
It's all likability, bro.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I don't know why people, especially with ESPN and Fox Sports and everything, I don't know why they don't like him like that, everything else, but at the end of the day, you know, you got to have some type of marketability for people to like you. You know what I mean? The brands got like, and the brands don't. Well,
the only thing I want to say is, what other player do we talk about that puts up numbers and lose? Because I think at the end of the day, I think what the NBA has always been consistent is winning. We talk about your winning players. You know, he may make a highlight. He may make your top 10 plays.
Right. That's a point.
But I mean, if you're not winning, like how do you celebrate a dude who's in 10th place in the East when you got Russell Westbrook, who is a hell of a player, and his running mate is Bradley Beal, who we know is the all-world player. Like if your team is in 10th place, 10.
The problem is nobody's putting up his type of numbers, though. I think that's the point. You know what I mean?
No,
like nobody.
Anybody who has good numbers, but their team is losing. Like who else do we talk about? If you're losing, you're losing. The fact that we're even talking about Russell Westbrook is a testament to his ability and his talent. Because the only reason we're talking about him is because of the numbers. But God forbid, the dude is in 10th place. Like, there's no other reason to talk about him because his team is not doing anything. They might not even make the play-in.
No, I don't think they will. But if they win the next couple of games, they will. But I don't think they're going to because of their opponents that are coming up. This doesn't shape up. But let's talk about the.
I mean, there's one last point, Frank. The one thing that I will say, because of the way they're playing now, if they make the play-in, I don't think any team is going to be anxious to see them because of what they could possibly do in the playoffs. I think they'll be a difficult out if they do make the play-in.
I don't think they're going to be a difficult out at all. I mean, I hear what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. But if they make the playoffs right now, they'd be the worst team, and they're going to go up against the best team in the East. The best team in the East is the Nets. So I don't think the Nets are worried about Washington at all. So
actually, it's the 76ers. 76ers is.
You're right. 76. I don't think the Sixers are worried about them either. But I wanted to bring up the New York Knicks because the New York Knicks are on white hot fire. And I always talk about this, I like the way the season progresses. I'm going to give the New York Knicks their due. And I'm going to even say this. Crazy thing about the Knicks right now is we're headed into the playoffs, talent, right? And the Knicks are playing better right now than they were 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're even playing, and they're playing better right now than they were a week ago. So if you're the Sixers, if you're the Nets, if you're the Celtics, if you're any of these teams that are ahead of them right now, I'm not even talking about the lower level teams. I'm talking about when you get to the Final Four teams in the East, you can literally, I can literally see the Knicks being in the Eastern Conference Finals with the way they're playing right now, because it's not about their scoring. It's about their defense. It can get them to be one of the two teams in the East. Now, I know people might say, what the hell Frank talk about? He's crazy. Let's look at it like this. The Sixers get disrupted by defense when they lost the last couple of games. They lost because their defense wasn't there. And the Nets, you saw how they got beat the other night when Milwaukee came up on it and they played some solid defense. So defense wins in this league. Talent. Agree, disagree? What you think?
I agree. They are the team no one wants to see because of that defense. You know, in a 7-game series, I think defense wins over the offense. The better defensive team is going to prevail, and that will be the Knicks. They easily can be seen in the semi or, the conference finals. I totally agree with that.
Yeah. And Fig, I'm going to throw it out to you and say this. Here's the crazy thing about it. And you being an all-point Knicks fan and everything else, I'm a Celtics fan. I'm not a Knicks fan. I watched the game. Actually, I watched 2 games with the Knicks. I haven't seen the Knicks play defense like this in 20-plus years. I haven't seen them do it. And nobody in the NBA, I don't care who you are, nobody in the NBA is going to want to see. There's only a handful of teams you're not going to want to see because they're playing solid defense in the league right now. And one of them is the Knicks. If you're Brooklyn or you're the Sixers right now, you got to be really shaking in your boots like, dude, we don't want to see these dudes in 7-game series. Now, I know you're a Knicks fan, and I know you're going to say what you, but I'm trying to keep it to a factual level. That's all. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to say be biased one way or the other. So, Fig, what's your thoughts?
I love the way that we're playing. I love the way Tibbs has us playing. Here's the thing: we're on we got a Western road trip, right? We won 2. We beat Houston and Memphis yesterday. Let me tell you the next 4, which scares me: Denver, Phoenix, the Clippers, and the Lakers. If that ain't a gauntlet in the Western Conference, I don't know what the hell is. And then after that, we got the Spurs and the Hornets. I mean, if the Knicks could go 500 in the next 4 games, which I'm not even sure that we can, I would be extremely pleasantly surprised. In the East, I think the teams that are going to give us trouble is definitely going to be the Nets, because the Nets are just the Nets. They just got too many weapons, and definitely the 76ers. And I'm going to tell you why. We don't have most of our big men are injured. The biggest man we have playing with us right now is Taj Gibson. We lost both of our centers to injuries, and I don't think they're coming back. And both of these teams, they have a big presence.
Okay, repeat those 4 teams again, please.
The Denver Nuggets, Jokic. They got the Phoenix Suns with Chris Paul, you know what I mean, and the crew. We got the Clippers, Kawhi and Paul George and the big dude over there. And then we got the Lakers that got Anthony Davis back.
They're going to beat the Lakers. They're going to beat the Clippers. They're going to beat the Suns. And they're going to lose to Denver. You know why? Because the Phoenix, they just played Phoenix not too long ago. They know how to play Phoenix. So they're going to beat Phoenix again. Denver is the only team. Jokic is the only player right now that is really hard to play and everything else. And it's really hard to stick up defense. And because they don't have their center, they're going to lose that game. But they're going to beat Phoenix if they play Phoenix. The Lakers don't have it together right now. They don't have it together. They're not playing together as team ball. And what was the other team you mentioned?
The Clippers.
The Clippers. I don't see the Clippers going. It depends kind of where they are. But the Clippers they're 500. They'll either play hot today or they'll play cold tomorrow. And the Clippers do not play great against a team that plays great defense. So they're gonna be 3-1. That's my prediction. I could be wrong. You know what I mean? So I think
Frank, I can get you right now. I can get you. I hope that's the case, man.
No, I'm only giving you factual facts, and telling you could agree or disagree. I know you guys are Knicks fans, and you're gonna probably agree. But the thing is, the way I look at it like this: when the team plays amazing defense in the Knicks' last 2 games, they've been playing some defense that even I had to go there and say, "Damn, these boys are balling!" I mean, balling. and they're moving the ball around. They remind me a little bit of Toronto when Toronto won the NBA championship that year because they played amazing defense and they moved the ball. The ball circled around. And last night when I saw them moving the ball around the perimeter and they were giving the guy the open shot, I hate the Knicks. I want them to fumble, but you know Thibodeau is making these dudes ball out. You know what I mean? These boys are balling out. So you got to give credit where credit is due. Nobody saw what they're playing right now, and my last point about this is I wouldn't be surprised in that stream of games if they went 3-1. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Wow. You know, and then it'd be the hottest topic in sports because everybody be like, "Damn, they beat that." You know what I mean? People are expecting them to go 0-4. Tom Thibodeau is going to surprise a lot of those dudes because those dudes are playing with defense and confidence. And look at the Celtics right now. The Celtics don't have defense like that, and they have zero confidence. In the last 8 games, they're 2-6. You know what I mean? Because of defense, injuries, lack of defense, injuries. You get where I'm going with this? That defense can carry you. You know what I mean?
And
so,
you know, the last game that we lost was to the Phoenix Suns, too.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying they're not going to lose twice to the Phoenix Suns. They're not going. That's why I said that. Phoenix beat them before. Phoenix is not going to beat them again. That's why. You know what I mean? That's just how it is. Last thing before we roll up out of here, I want to just give a shout out and tell me what you think about this too. Start with you because Carmelo Anthony moving in 10th place all time in NBA scoring. He passed Elvin Hayes. And if we look at Carmelo Anthony, literally 18 months ago, he wasn't even on the team. You know what I mean? He wasn't even on the NBA team. So we got to give kudos to Carmelo Anthony because, again, I love people who come up, you know, and when people don't expect you to do things. What you think about, what you think about Carmelo, man? You got 60 seconds.
If you know me, you know I'm loving this the most of any story in NBA. Right behind my Knicks winning, you know, I'm a big Carmelo fan, you know, and you as a Knicks fan, you're always going to feel some sort of, you know, deficit because of how he was treated and ousted. And how the league tried to blackball him. Great comeback story, continuing to build his body of work. Love it.
There you go. 60 seconds.
Absolutely love what Carmelo is doing now. Everything, I echo what Talent said. The one thing that I'm sorry about is that he couldn't be on a team like they are right now, and he didn't have a coach like Tibbs and some some players around him to be able to help him out.
Right. There you go. All right, y'all. That's the show. We got to get ready to roll up out of here because the show's over. So tell everybody out there how they can follow you, bro.
Hey, follow me online, baby. Twitter at It's Just Comedy. Instagram, Talent the Comedian. And on Facebook, King Talent Harris. It's going to be a stupendous week. Why? Because it's the birthday week. And Thursday, Donovan Mitchell Sr. right here. Box seats.
There you go. When you say birthday week, is it your birthday?
Mm-hmm. Sunday's birthday, bro.
Sunday's your birthday? Wow, my wife's birthday is Sunday too. Okay, May 9th.
I sent y'all the text. Check your text. You know what I want for my birthday. I told Deshaun Watson I need 2 masseuses.
I will be busy Mother's Day, bro. I'll be busy. Fig, what's your?
Yo, it's your boy FIG. All social media platforms until Facebook. I got another 2-day suspension on Box Seat. Monday to Friday.
How you get suspended?
That damn senator that looked like one of the Cosby kids pissed me off, and I called him a coon.
The guy, the black
senator that talk about there wasn't no racism in America.
Tim. They call him Uncle Tim.
Don't say it again before we get banned on this platform. Don't say it again.
Box Seats, baby, Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. Best damn sports show on TV.
All right, y'all. That's the show. We got to get ready, roll up out of here. I can't believe your birthday is. I can't believe that. I'm tripping. I did not know that.
Sunday. You know
that explains a lot, though. That explains a lot.
It explains why Carmelo's balling out. It explains why the Knicks is balling out.
It explains a lot. I'm not even gonna go there. It explains a lot. You know, when I got to deal with you for an hour and deal with my wife the other 23. So that explains a lot.
Taurus, baby. Taurus season.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, y'all. The name of the show is Box Seats. The channel is Humor Mill. We are out. We'll be back tomorrow. Like he said, we got Donovan Mitchell Sr. I can't wait to talk to him because Donovan Mitchell is also injured. So see what him and Sr. are going to be talking about. That's Thursday. Y'all going to see the flyer, y'all. So we're going to talk about all that and then some. The show's Box Seats, the channel's Humor Mill. We'll see y'all soon. Peace.